Hey everyone, I'm Fred Ranger and welcome back to the channel. The last video, I think it's been a bit over a month ago, and there's a good reason for that. I've been investing time and effort over at my visual storytelling podcast. If you aren't subscribed yet, please do so with the link down below. I'm having a tremendous time interviewing some of my favorite photographers out there. There's a conversation with Matt Day. There's another one with Dan Baker, Henriette Sagford, and all these guys that I really admire, and they became friends along the way. And it was interesting to get to know the people behind the photos that we see on Instagram on their website, or actually in exhibitions. Have one coming up with Dotan Sagi. I think you don't want to miss that one. This will be a very interesting one. And if you have ideas on who should I interview next, please feel free to share, or maybe I should interview you because you are a watcher, listeners of this channel, of the podcast. So please make sure to let me know who would you like to see next on my podcast. And this video is presented by No, it's not what you think. It's presented by my latest zine, which is the second zine that I ever produced, and I'm very proud about this one because this is basically some of my favorite shots over the past few years, and this is a long-term series about all of those, unprovoked poetry moment, as I like to call them, from around the world, and I'm getting a lot of positive feedback on it. So please feel free to, buy a printed copy like this one. I used Blurb as my main tool for that, and also I have a digital copy over at my website. So again, I really thank you for your patron, yeah, for buying this. If you feel like it, if not, no issues at all. I will continue to give you free content like I do here on this channel. But with that out of the way, I want to give you an update on something that I just got in the mail. Let me get it. From our good friends at Fujifilm. Yes, it's the return of some Fujifilm content on this channel. Yes, I've been publishing a lot about LEICA, and I love my LEICA cameras, but I have a sweet spot, or a soft spot, for Fujifilm cameras. As you know, this is being filmed on a Fujifilm X-H2, and I love this camera. But the good folks at Fujifilm Canada were kind enough to send me the latest and greatest camera on the market. And yes, I think you know by now that this is the Fujifilm X-T5, and today I just wanted to open the box with you and see what is different from what I'm used to shooting. I shot the X-T2, X-T3, X-T4, and also the X-H1, X-H2S now, and a plethora of other Fujifilm cameras, including the XS10. Now that the XS20 is out, that's also something that I'm going to be testing. But first, this one is a very important camera because it's kind of the return of some of the favorite features that we love as Fujifilm shooters. What's in the box of a Fujifilm X-T5? Well, you've got your documentation, as you always do. Let's see what they give you this time in the little package that comes with the camera. Of course, there's the battery, and this is way more powerful than it used to be in the X-T3 and the X-T2 and so on. And unfortunately, you don't get the full-blown charger. Now this is the trend with Fujifilm and other camera manufacturers. You get kind of this plug-in and through the USB-C port, but you do get the adapters to when you go to France, like I'm actually going in a few weeks, so you can plug it in the European type of plugs, and also in the UK type of plugs, and this is the US, Canada, and North America type of plug. What you also get is a little dongle here, so you can actually plug that into the USB-C port, and then you have a headphone jack right from the camera, because it doesn't sports one right from the get-go. And you've got your usual strap that I typically don't use, but hey, if you're into these type of things, please feel free to use it. It's a pretty actually hefty one, a pretty, not hefty, but comfortable one that they give you now these days. It used to be way less comfortable, but now they give you kind of a good one. So let's leave the battery here, we'll need it. And what do we have here? Well, we have the main act. So this is the box. I'm just gonna put it away. You've got the brand new, or not brand new anymore, but the latest and greatest Fujifilm X-T5. And let's put a battery in it so we can boot it up. like so. So a couple of things that I should mention about this camera. So first off, I got a lot of questions in my YouTube comments about why should people even consider this camera over the X-H2 that's also 40 megapixel, or over the X-H2S. Well, a couple of things. So the first one is definitely the return of the flip up screen, like so. And this is something that the photographers actually really enjoy, myself included. So if I was a photographer only, I would definitely consider this one over the X-H models. I prefer the grip on the X-H models, but I don't like the fact that it's a flip out screen when doing photography. When doing videos like this one, I can actually see myself. I have a couple monitors, but this one is very useful when you're on the go. I would definitely recommend the X-H for video, but for photography only, this camera is probably your best choice because it does support that 40 megapixel, same sensor, backside illuminated, than the one that you find in the X-H2, and it actually has a great image stabilization, 7 stops, and also again that very interesting flip up screen that we used to have in our X-T3s and not XS, but the X-T3, the X-T2, and the X100V. That's another one that has the flip up screen, and it also have the flip down screen like that, so you can do the angle shot or the portrait mode shot, and you can still, you know, be low angled. So I really love this this screen that's on there. For the dials, I mean, they do feel, you know, a little bit more plasticky than the previous versions, but not, you know, they don't feel cheap, but they do feel a little bit less clicky, a little bit less you know, metal than the versions before, like the X-T2. It is a camera that actually has a slightly better grip than the X-T3 and the X-T4 even. It's a bit more deep, and I really enjoy that. What I would add to that is an extra, maybe, I don't know if I would put a thumb rest on it. I don't think I would put a thumb rest on it, but what I would put is that extra grip here that gives me a little bit more reach, you know, for my pinky to rest here. And usually it gives you an Arca Swiss type of mount, so you can mount it on a tripod very easily. You don't have to fiddle around with like screwing stuff in and out. So that's definitely something, an accessory that would add to this kit. But also some small details, like just the fact that they have that little switch here to go from single shot to continuous to manual focus. A lot of people like that. A lot of people want to have that little dial here, whereas on the X-H models, it's just a button, an extra button you have to press, and then you can change it. Also, the back dial is clickable. That's something that I really enjoyed on the X-T4. I don't know why they didn't put it on my X-H2S. It's a weird design choice, but hey, who am I to tell the Fujifilm designers what to do? But I would have enjoyed having that pressing of the button here on the wheel, because it gives you an extra way to customize your camera. Also, in this camera you have, or on this camera should I say, you have a better grip every time they release an XT camera. You know, remembering the XT1, XT2, XT3, XT4, they always try to improve the ergonomics on it, and I will say that this one is probably the most comfortable XT camera that I've tested. I mean, I haven't tested it out yet, so we're gonna go out and shoot together, but right now, just, you know, la prise en main, so the first time I'm having it in my hands, I can feel that this has been refined. But this 40 megapixel, a couple things. Well, not all the lenses are supposed to be optimized for that sensor, although you can still shoot the old lenses, of course, if you want, and you'll get tremendous results. But I'm looking forward to testing it with 3 lenses that I own, and that I will, you know, put it through its paces. First one is definitely my favorite one, which is the 33mm f1.4. This is a lens that's supposed to be optimized for this sensor, and you know what? Let's put it on and see how it looks like with the 33 on. There you go. And let's put the lens cap. No, let's not put the lens cap on. I don't really like those lens caps. There you have it. So this is the Fujifilm X-T5 with the 33mm f1.4. It actually feels very, very good. I think this is probably one of the combination I would go out the most often with. But of course, if you want to do a little bit more wider angle, you've got the 18mm 1.4, which is also one of the newest, and it should resolve, you know, the 40 megapixel on this sensor magnificently. So this will be kind of my kit if I want to be very small and inconspicuous. I don't know if that's a word. I'm a Frenchie, right? So sometimes I say words in English and they're not exactly right, so please correct me in the comments if I invented a word, but you know what I mean. To be more discreet, I would go for that 27 pancake lens. This is an f2.8 lens, but again, it gives you a very small form factor. And just for the sake of it, because I have it and because I want to test it with an f2 lens, I would do the 50 millimeters to see how that goes. So those are my first thoughts, not even impressions. Those are just my first thoughts around this camera. I will be testing it over the next few weeks. And if you want to know anything precisely or anything specifically about the camera, the lenses I'm using, if you want me to test something in particular, let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, activate the bell notification so you actually know when I drop the next video about the Fujifilm X-T5. Until then, I remind you to go see my zine here if you are into that type of things, and if you have any questions, let me know. I've been Fred Ranger. Please enjoy life, be happy, and enjoy your new Fujifilm camera. Cheers.